got ourselves a surprise winner at the most unexpected track of all. So, hey YouTube, what's going on? Mark here. Happy Sunday night to all. And I apologize for the inconvenience with the 2025 Sandy Ridge premiere, which was the season 4 premiere. Spring is in the air, which the 2-day special would have concluded yesterday, but inclement weather decided to have other plans, forcing, the weather as a whole to not cooperate, so therefore it was, lower 70s, which was nice. That's not the problem. And it's not that I feared the rain. No. I was going to try to beat the rain yesterday, but when I saw it was going to be super windy, because remember the day after the first ever night of the century in 2022, where it was beautiful out after a haircut with Cousin Kenny before the Basha Supermarkets 200 at Phoenix International Raceway, where we were expecting, the other three of the championship four contenders to junk Ty Gibbs' shit after all the bullshit he caused, when the 2022 NASCAR Busch Series season that year. Well, yeah, I just didn't want to have another repeat of that. It was like way too windy, and the heavy winds was basically what killed the warm temperatures yesterday, with or without the rain. So I figured it wouldn't be safe enough to chance it. But there's going to be 2 more opportunities this Tuesday and Wednesday to get that redemption, and then after that it's going to go back to being cold as shit. I mean, tomorrow will be the standalone cold day tomorrow when we have our St. Patrick's Day party at work. It's going to be cold, really, really cold. It's really going to be cold. And then it's going to go back to being nice the next 2 days after that. So we might as well, enjoy those while we can, because Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday we go to Quiznos, and the day after is going to be the last of the few first nice days we're going to get for a little while. And like I mentioned many, many times, after we get through these next 2 episodes, early episodes of season 4, Spring is in the Air, this coming Tuesday and Wednesday, I will continue monitoring the weather each and every day to see when we get the first legit nice day after this coming Tuesday and Wednesday, whether it be sometime before March ends or anytime not long when April starts. So the moment I first find out when it's going to take place, which will more than likely, be in the mid to upper 70s by then, because there was lower mid 70s, Friday and Saturday, and as soon as, and then of course when I find out when the first 80-degree day of the season will be, I will pass it along to you immediately, and we'll go from there. So therefore, this is just a repeat of 2022. And speaking of repeat of 2022, happy Ricky Rudd 28th birthday to Leo Dooley from Disney XD's Living La Vida Labyrinth, created by Chris Peterson and Brian Moore, Tyrell Jackson Williams. So therefore, hope you ended up having a good birthday, buddy. I mean, you have grown so much since the Leo Dooley days when you were just a baby. Well, not baby, but you know what I mean. You were a young kid, with the high-pitched voice since the early La Vida Labyrinth days. And by, I would say, mid to late season 3, going into season 4, you became the deep-voiced Tyrell Jackson Williams that we all know and love today. So much love to you on your special day. So now, the elephant in the room, let's talk about the NASCAR Winston Cup Series hitting the jackpot this week in Viva Las Vegas for the UAW-DaimlerChrysler 400. So where do we begin with all this? I think it was a fantastic race, mile and a half, which are also known as intermediate checks, that could produce some damn good racing because of the Gen 7 putting on bangers, let alone fantastic races in general. They don't have to be bangers, but they can just be basic fantastic races with the Gen 7. We ended up getting a first-time winner, so therefore the Wood brothers are so back. Win number 101 for NASCAR's longest tenured team in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. So congratulations to Josh Berry on getting Winston Cup win number 1. And what was only, let me see here, it's hard to memorize, the current schedule compared to back then. Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, let me see here, Phoenix. This is only the 5th race of the season. And we already have a first-time winner and, a brand new face in the chase for the Cup. So hopefully this doesn't fuck up the chase grid so badly, depending on how many more first-time winners we may or may not get. But only time will tell. I was kind of rooting for Suarez to get the win because, I was thinking about my dad, considering I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's out of town again. And I was just getting ready to say, when Suarez was hanging on for like a little bit, maybe a minute or two, I said, I think my dad's out of town. I was about to say my dad's out of town, so maybe Suarez will win this one. But when I started the sentence, I didn't get a chance to like go halfway through. He ended up getting loose in turn one, I believe, and that's what gave Barry the race lead and the win. So I basically jinxed Suarez and my dad. So therefore, unfortunately, well, here's the thing though. I'm just guessing if my dad's out of town or not. So when I check with him, I say, hey dad, were you out of town this past Sunday? And if he says yes, that means my dad is 2-1 whenever his favorite driver is fighting for a win and he's out of town. But then whether he wins the race or not, my dad has 2 victories and my dad has 1 loss. So we don't know if that's official. It's 2 and, double question mark right now in the loss column. So we don't know if he was out of town, because I was getting ready to call him too in case he won. But when I saw Suarez couldn't lost the lead and couldn't hang on to hold off Barry, I said, Mark, put the phone down. I don't think your dad's boy is gonna win this one. But I hope Suarez gets another win just so he could save his job at Trackhouse. That way we don't have to worry about Connor Zilic replacing him, because that's why I'm skeptical of picking Zilic as my favorite Busch Series driver. Because what if Suarez has a bad year, doesn't turn anything around in the foreseeable future this season, and he's the one that replaced my dad's driver? And I would hate for that to do that to my dad in the form of NASCAR drivers we root for. So that's why I'm still trying to figure out who my favorite Busch Series driver is going to be. So we'll figure it out one day, 1 week, 1 month at a time. So yeah, so Josh Berry totally deserved that win. There was no luck of the draw. It was not fluky. It was not, cheesy. It was like truly legit, straight up on speed. He ran up front all day and earned that shit. Unlike some other guy who once drove the 21 on a part-time basis and wasn't even eligible for Rookie of the Year, who is known as, in my book, the modern-day Derek Cope. Lucking it. Want to talk about Harrison Burton? Yeah, I will give you that. But most people don't realize this. A particular driver, the 21 in 2011, lucked his way into a Daytona 500 victory, which was a Mickey Mouse 500 victory at Daytona, only because the race-winning car, where I don't know if David Reagan was the fastest car on the field that day, but that was his race to win, and he only lost it because he got a restart violation, which turned out to be the penultimate restart. Because if that would have never happened, TB would not have won that race. So therefore, he's basically the modern day version of Derek Cope. 19 lucked into a Mickey Mouse 500 win at Daytona in the beginning of the first race of the season, the Great American Race. And just like his predecessor, 1990, outside of that Dover race win later in the year, which sure, Derek Cope got his second career win. Followed up with another win, I believe it was, at Dover that year, but much like Cope in 1990, other than that Dover win, he actually earned on speed. Other than that Dover win, much like Cope back then, what the fuck did Bayne do after lucking into that Daytona 500 win that wasn't deserved, without a doubt? Didn't fucking do jack shit. He proceeded to not do a damn thing the rest of his career in Winston Cup in that car, let alone his career, Winston Cup career in general. Regardless of the right car he drove. At least in the case with Michael McDowell and Austin Dillon looking into Daytona 500 wins in 2021 and 2018, at least those guys went on to continue to they went on to actually do stuff after winning their Daytona 500, getting their Daytona 500s, even if they were like based on luck. But sure, they were lucky too. But at least Dillon, even if I wasn't an Austin Dillon fan, I'd be saying the same thing. At least Dillon and McDowell went on to actually go do more stuff. And guess what? They're still doing stuff even to this day. Trevor Bayne and Derek Cope could never. So therefore, I know you guys want to be happy for Bayne even back then, but you got to admit, he wouldn't have won that if David Reagan did not get that restart violation for changing lanes to the penultimate restart. And worse yet, much like Derek Cope, except for that subsequent Dover win, Trevor Bayne proceeded to not do anything the rest of his career after that in Winston Cup after that 500 win. So basically, modern day Derek Cope. So I'm glad those one-hit wonders are no longer racing, even though we have to deal with Bayne's bum ass, I think it's Amazon Prime when they take over. But anyway, ranting aside, at least the 21 got a legit win for once. I mean, Harrison Burton was somewhat legit. I mean, in the underdog form, yes, it was legit, and the underdog part was legit. Last year at Daytona, the underdog part was legit, but the whole, part of, qualifying for the chase wasn't legit because, as much as a feel good underdog as much as a, oh my God.
Stop it. Get some help.
As good as an underdog story feels when any underfunded team wins, or even let alone a lower team in general wins, sure, it feels good, but at least with Josh Berry, he actually has a legit case to be in the chase this year. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, at least Josh Berry has actually runs decently in points, where even when he doesn't win. But Harrison Burton's case last year, I mean, someone who is like 34th in points should not all of a sudden catapult to 16th just because they won a race, particularly lucking into a restrictor plate race. I mean, even as an Austin Dillon fan, I have to admit, even though he should have won that Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond regardless, just because you're 31st in points, I mean, even if even if that stupid Stenhouse caution never happened and he won that on speed straight up like he was going to do, I mean, being 31st in points and you winning a race, whether it's a legit or luck-based, should not catapult you to 15th in points. But I hope we don't have to have that discussion this year again. But knowing NASCAR and how they promote this shit and and enforce it, I'm pretty sure we will. But I hope it doesn't go as far as last year did. But yeah, so the Wood brothers finally got themselves a legit win for the first time in God knows how long. I mean, Elliott Sadler in 2001 at Bristol in the Food City 500 was legit, obviously, but that was before the majority of younger race fans was born, because if you're a lifer like me since that same season, the Wood brothers here have been looking for their guy, for many, many years, and I think they just found it with Josh Berry. The rest of the race, on the other hand, was pretty entertaining. I mean, poor Kyle Busch, there's going to be, I don't know how many weeks vacation, these crew members get when you'll get penalized for a wheel coming off, but poor Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe, it's going to be a vacation for two random pit crew members on both their teams for a tire getting away. It was like, the first round of green flag pit stops, Briscoe lost a tire because, the crew did not get the lug nut fast and tight enough. And then, it was during the first round of green flag pit stops, and it trapped so many people a lap down. But luckily, the wave arounds bailed them out, which you wouldn't have gotten the Winston Cup days. And then I think a caution restarted 2 later. Kyle Busch ended up losing a wheel, so that's going to be what am I trying to say? Hold on. And that's going to be, a good old vacation for 2 pit crew members on Kyle Busch's team and 2 random pit crew members on Chase Briscoe's team. Okay, I don't even know how many weeks of vacation these crew members are usually take when a wheel comes off of their driver's car. So if someone could correct me in the comments of how many weeks, vacation these crew members are going to take whenever they get suspended for tires falling off. I know in 2022 it was, a 4 or 5 week vacation for the crew chief and 2 random pit crew members, but apparently people complained and got their panties in a wad to the point where they adjusted the rule where they abolished the crew chief suspension part and abolished the 4-week vacation part. And I don't even know how many weeks vacation. So if someone could tell me in the comments, that would be great. But, Noah Gragson and Austin Dillon, I mean, Austin had a decent race going, but Gregson and Bell, who sadly did not, well, I'm glad to see someone new won for a change, but would have been nice to see Bell make history and win 5 in a row. But, I mean, streaks are made to be broken. Bell and Gregson made it 4 wide, which, most of the time doesn't fucking work anywhere in any track unless you're at a plate track, and, cause that, Stenhouse spin, and then, it was like, Jones and Blaney got hit, two super wrecks on that one caution restart that ended Austin's day. I mean, he did come back on the track, but he was not a factor to get a good finish because he was multiple laps down. And then I think Gregson blew that tire from the contact on that restart, which, caused him to hit the wall, and have his day be done, considering he was still in the race, even all that. But I should have known that that it was going to cause a tire rub. But of course, I had no way of knowing because of how atrocious the Fox broadcast is. They didn't fucking show it like you would have, back in the glory days of NASCAR and Fox, 2001 to 2015. So they would have showed it then. I mean, maybe in 2016, in the last of its peak, then yeah, when it started to go a little downhill, then both 50-50 would have showed 2016 or 2017. But by 2018, yeah, the NASCAR Fox's production, like broadcasting product, has been so ass. It's been going totally downhill since 2018. It's like, at least we don't have to deal with them as long as we had been from 2015 all the way to last year, to the point where we had to wait until the Dodge Save Mart 350 to tell them get the fuck out. I mean, at least after the Winston All-Star race, we don't have to deal with them this year, which by the Coke 600, we get Amazon Prime and, bum-ass 211 Mickey Mouse 500 winner at Daytona, Trevor Bayne. So, therefore, yeah, I'm glad we didn't have to worry about Fox's, abomination of a broadcast, abysmal. I don't have to worry about their abysmal product this year. Oh my God. We don't have to worry about their abysmal product as long this year as we had been from 2015 through last year. So that's what I was trying to say. So therefore, yeah, I mean, what else happened in the race? I mean, there was so much to talk about. Yeah, Christopher, who had that, oh yeah, one of the Gibbs cars had like a loose wheel. I know it was the Gibbs car, but I was trying to remember. I believe it was Christopher Bell he had a loose wheel. I believe it was it Bell or Briscoe? It might have been Bell, if I remember to insert the clip here. And so, since he was already down and away, his crew told him, stop at another competitor's pit, have him, loosen, tighten that wheel for you. And I know that's not allowed, but if you do it, it won't. I mean, it's a lesser penalty compared to what he would have gotten if he would have just went out there with the loose wheel and just have it fall off and have two crew members be suspended. He went into his teammate's pit, have him loosen up. Not loosen up. What the fuck am I saying? Tighten up the lug nut. That way the wheel wouldn't fall off. So that was being a good teammate right there, in the pits instead of on the track. But that's pretty much all I can think of that happened in the race. Off the top of my head. If I missed a few details, or certain things that happened, then correct me in the comments. But I got nothing else more to say. I mean, we're going to the Ford 400 in Homestead Miami Speedway next Sunday on the 26th birthday of Ricky Martin's biggest hit, Livin' La Vida Loca, written by Robbie Draco Rosa and Desmond Child. So I do look forward to that. And I know, if one of my homeboys win the Ford 400 next weekend, then I will do a Livin' La Vida Loca dance to celebrate, not only celebrate the win. I mean, that's like a long shot there. But I will celebrate the songs. What will be, it's Todd Bodine 26th birthday. It will be my 26th year being a fan of Ricky Martin. And I'll end this off by saying, as much as I enjoy other artists, bands, songs, and genres, at the end of the day, as of next Sunday, for the last 26 years, I'm a Ricky Martin fan first before anything or anyone, and that's never going to change until the day I die and I find myself buried at Riverside Cemetery next to my abuelo. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for the next video, which will be tomorrow. I will, and I apologize for no Spurs game review yesterday. I just ran out of time, but I will be doing that tomorrow after I get home from work and, have a good time with my other half and all my friends at the day program doing our St. Patrick's Day party. I will, have a brief recap of that at the beginning of tomorrow's Spurs game review and then briefly talk about De'Aaron Fox, let me briefly address, Swipa's injury, and then the rest of the video, and that's the exact order I'm going to go in. I will be reviewing the Saturday night game, which was a much-needed win against the Pelicans, in which I will save, the tangent about, trolling, the Pelicans announcers for tomorrow's video. So I will see you all for tomorrow's video, and then the following 2 days after that, whatever content I have to bring you for the next 2 episodes of Spring is in the Air, Season 4, come Tuesday and Wednesday. See you later, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.